Ika-66 nga session ng Sangguniang Panlungsod Borongan, Disyembre 9, 2020.
The 66th regular session is now called to order. That's all set for the ready. Led by the Honorable Glaiza Tiu, followed by Anacta.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. In the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear Lord, we offer this gathering to you and ask you to present with your wisdom and grace. We thank you for this opportunity to be together, to grow in our love and service of you and of each other. We ask you to enlighten our minds to know what is true and just, and strengthen our wills to carry out faithfully what we come to see as our duty. May all our thoughts, words, and actions be directed to making your name and your love better known among men for the sanctification and your happiness here and eternity. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
That we down to the general welfare of my constituents.
In their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity.
In their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity.
I believe in public service above self.
I believe in public service above self.
As the guiding principle of my official acts.
As a guiding principle of my official acts.
And as I tread the pathways of local legislation.
And as I tread the pathways of local legislation.
May the Almighty guide my mind and heart.
May the Almighty guide my mind and heart.
That I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
That I shall be true to my constituents and the Filipino people.
Honorable Emman Dr. Sonco.
Present.
Honorable Maria Rosindilaza.
Present.
Honorable Dr. Anacta Sadac.
Present.
Honorable Lyra Limbauan.
Present.
Honorable Atty. Kathlyn.
Present.
Honorable Engineer Melcho Arago. Honorable Glaiza Tiu.
Present.
Honorable Melcho Arago.
Present.
Honorable Atty. Byron.
Present.
Honorable Atty.
Present.
Honorable Escoto. Honorable Honorable
Present.
Honorable Chairman, we have the presence of the Lebanese members.
Attested by our Secretary that there are 11 members present. The Chair declares that we have a quorum.
Approval of the resolutions.
Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I would like to move for the inclusion of a resolution, a proposed resolution, reminding our barangay officials to submit their 2021 annual barangay budgets pursuant to their obligation under Section 329 to 334 of the Local Government Code, and subsequently urging our City Budget Office and City Accounting Office to assist the barangay officials in promptly completing their documentary requirements.
Any objections?
No objection. Another amendment.
Okay, go ahead.
I would like also to propose for the passage of an appropriation ordinance appropriating the savings of the undersigned, salary savings and rata to be made available as legislative service to 11 Sangguniang Panlungsod members of the this summer. I suppose, Mr. Chair.
Any objections? Second. Ayun go. Amendments. Any more amendments?
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. I would also like to include under a proposed resolution, stating among others that the area covered by the application of Ms. Eugenia Aragas to develop a beach resort is not needed for any easement or development project of the city government.
Any second?
Second.
Any objections? None, so matters approved. Any more amendments? None, Madam Clerk.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of our order of business as amended.
Any objections? Further discussions? None, so the order of business for today is hereby approved as amended. Next item, Mr. Speaker.
Reading and consideration of the minutes of the regular session held last December 4, 2020.
Okay, so the minutes for the previous session was emailed to you by our secretary. So any amendments, any corrections, suggestions, comments, corrections? None? So much for leader.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the minutes of the regular session held on December 4, 2020.
Second. Any objections? None. So the minutes for the December 4th regular session is now approved. Next item, sir.
On committee report, we have committee infra and ordinance utilizing the savings from funds of completed projects under the 25% Development Fund calendar year 2016-2019 amounting to 6,150,000 for opening to the Memorial Park and the South from the city, including road right-of-way acquisition.
So the committee chair or infra of the floor.
Point of order, yes, you have. I would like to rectify the seemingly clerical error because the 25% is actually 20% development fund. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, noted. Go ahead, committee chair of infra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If may I request that before I manifest my committee report, because there is another project which correlates to this proposed resolution, so that I could discuss the joint committee meeting on behalf of the two projects. So, before I discuss the committee meeting on committee report on the Capital Cemetery project, may I request that the San Jose road opening be stated too, so that there will be the two correlated projects will be discussed in my committee.
Okay, sige.
Just for purposes of discussion, perhaps in the move for approval, it could be
Separate.
Kasi title.
Yes, yes. Okay. No problem. May continue.
discipline.
Okay, we have also the road opening by the San Jose leading to Borongan City Primary Health Care Facility.
Okay, go ahead. Committee chair of infra.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I read what transpired during our joint committee meetings? For the joint committees on Public Works and Finance, which were held last November 24, and the other was last December 2020. This concerns both the projects stated, San Jose Road Cooperative leading to COVID-19 facility, and the road opening leading to the new Memorial Park. Present in the December 2 committee meeting where we were fortunate enough that many committee members and Sangguniang Panlungsod members were present. Of course, the Chairman of Finance, Kagawad Cainday was present. Yours truly, the Chairman of Committee Public Works was present. Present also Honorable Glaiza Escoto, Honorable Renata Zibagagay, and Honorable Maria Daza. Present were from the City Engineering Office were 3 engineers in the person of is Gina Joy Veros, the Assistant City Engineer, is Fatima Joy Catorjo, Engineer 1, and Mr. John Quanico, Engineer 1. Present also was Mr. Resery, my Executive Assistant, and of course, our Speech Secretary. The joint committee conducted an initial committee meeting last November 24, 2020 held at the CDRR Info Conference Room. Unfortunately, it was only attended by yours truly and a representative from the office of Kagawad Cainday, the 3 personnel from the engineering office, Mr. Resery, my executive assistant. What transpired during the committee meeting, the undersigned verbally manifested in the disposition last November 27 and tried to explain to the SPM members the estimates and from the engineering office to the extent that I have sketches in the whiteboard here. Of course, I think the Sangguniang Panlungsod members will not get clarified on my presentation and regarding the estimates of both projects. So the result of which was not a presentation. The Sangguniang Panlungsod members still have some queries for the said projects comparatively on the cost estimates of both projects. So the undersigned once again requested for another joint committee meeting last December 2020 to resolve finally the questionable items regarding on the cost estimate of the projects. And the lengthy discussion, seemingly the body did not yet understand much when you compare the cost of the project for San Jose road opening compared to the Campisao road opening, because the San Jose road opening with only 120 linear meters of length was programmed at around 5 million pesos, and the Campisao road project with a length of 280 linear meters was estimated at 5,339,833. So, along the discussion, Kagawad Cainday made a proposal to present her cost comparison with the help of one of the engineering personnel. So she presented, which is still evident in the report, a comparison of cost per linear meter of the 2 projects. Because the main problem was really on the comparison. Why the cost of the San Jose project was 5 million and the cost of Campisao project was 5.8 million. A very small difference. But when it comes to length of the project, San Jose was very much smaller at 120 linear meters, and Campisao project was 280 linear meters. So with the help of our engineering personnel, Kagawad Cainday was able to come up with a comparison there in the blackboard, and it was noted in my report that the San Jose road project the cost comparison amounted to 31,855.36 per linear meter of road, while the Cainday road project amounted to 29,012 per linear meter of the road project. So the difference was almost just a little amount, about more than 2,000 per linear meter, which the committee considered to be alright, to be acceptable. And the fact that San Jose in itself has a greater cost per linear meter because of the big embankment, big quantity of embankment, and big quantity of structural concrete, because there is a very big culvert in the road leading to our COVID facility. While in the Cainday road project, the embankment was very much smaller in quantity compared to the embankment in San Jose. And the structural concrete for several small concrete culverts were very much smaller also. The quantity of the culvert per cubic meter was very much smaller than the structural culvert in San Jose. That were the main reasons why the San Jose road projects amounted to 5 million and a very high estimate per linear meter, 31,855, compared to Cainday road, which is a little bit higher in length, was only 29,000 per linear meter. After which, the engineering office was also required to present a revised program of work on the Cainday road project, since there were noticeable errors in their estimate, particularly on the reinforced concrete pipe culvert, which was estimated in program of work at 36 pieces, and the actual was only 6 pieces. And again, admittedly, the engineer Panico admittedly manifested that he missed another estimate also on the wing wall, concrete wing wall for the Cainday road project. So there was a balance of, while we were thinking of the savings because of the overestimated quantity of culverts, there was a point, there was an item which needed to have been included. That was the reason when he submitted the revised program of work, the difference of the old program of work and the new one was only, we will be saving only 3,000 pesos. So with this, Mr. Chair, we thought the Sangguniang Panlungsod Committee members for Finance and Transportation accepted the rationale, and we thought that the project will be reviewed for consideration to the Sangguniang Panlungsod in this issue. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Just to clarify, Honorable Chair, I fully support and agree with the committee report of Honorable Arago. To clarify the findings, it seems that the cost of the construction of the San Jose road for 120 meters was 31,855 per linear meter, while the Cainday construction, which was longer at 280 meters, only cost 16,605 per linear meter. That was the issue. So we were able to come up with a difference because it showed that the construction in San Jose was much more complicated. So the embankment difference and the difference in the cost of the culverts amounted to a very big difference in the amounts, to the point that the total, kumbaga, area construction cost per linear meter for San Jose was 31,855 laliha. But the Campesao, when you only considered direct materials, it became 29,012 pesos. So the difference became acceptable already. Since ang putting yung difference, we attribute it to the profit, which being mandated DPWH, depending on the cost of the project. So that was why we came up with the amount of 29,012. But originally, looking at the cost itself, 16,000 lang. That's why there was a question. But after the explanation, the costs became comparable and reasonable na. So thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Any more comments, suggestions, questions regarding the report? None? So, the Honorable Arago, Chair.
Approval of the committee report. Approval of the committee report.
If there are no more questions regarding the exceeded agenda for the two projects, may I submit this committee report for approval of the Sangguniang Panlungsod Borongan.
Second the motion.
Any objections? None? So, the motion is approved.
Subsequently, Honorable
Yes,
President.
good. Madam Clerk.
I would like to move that we include for our proposed ordinance at their second reading, the appropriation ordinance utilizing the savings from the funds under the 20% development fund amounting to 6,150,000 for the road opening to new memorial park in Barangay Campesao, Borongan City, including the road right-of-way acquisition.
Any objections? None? So, the motion is approved. Second, Mr. Secretary. Yes, go ahead.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I would also like to move that we include for our proposed ordinance on second reading, the appropriation ordinance for the road opening of Barangay San Jose leading to the Borongan City Primary Healthcare amounting to 5 million pesos.
Any objections? None? So the motion is approved. Take note again, Mr. Secretary. Next item.
Committee on Finance, review of 2020 annual budget for Barangay Kamada, San Siya, San Atty.
Okay, so the committee chair of finance.
Honorable Presiding Officer, a committee meeting was held on December 7, 2020 at around 9:30 in the morning. Present were the City Budget Officer, Ms. Maria Alicia Devara, yours truly as the Chairman of the Committee on Finance, Honorable Limbauan, Honorable Arago, and Honorable Daza. So this is pursuant to Section 333 of the Local Government Code, which mandates that within 10 days from the approval of the barangay ordinance, it shall be furnished to the Sangguniang Panlungsod through the City Budget Officer, and the Sangguniang concerned shall have the power to review the ordinance in order to ensure their compliance with the law. So the following barangay annual budgets for 2020 were submitted: Barangay Kamada, Barangay Siha, Barangay San Saturnino, and Barangay Bugas. During the discussion, it was found out that the above-mentioned barangays have complied with the requirements under the law, such as that the aggregate amount appropriated would not exceed the estimate of income. The amount of the appropriations for debt servicing did not exceed 20% of the regular income. There was a 5% barangay disaster risk reduction management fund. There was also discretionary expense of 2%, the development projects of 20%, and other requirements set forth by the law. There was also certification from our City Budget Officer that the 2020 annual budget submitted by Barangay Kamada, Barangay Siha, Barangay San Saturnino, and Barangay Bugas has substantially complied with the law and the documentary requirements under the local government budget processing. However, during that finance committee meeting also, it was found out that for the 2020 annual budgets, we still have 3 other barangays who has not complied with the submission of their 2020 annual budgets. The first one is Barangay Suribao, Barangay Kabong, and then Barangay Suhutan, which we are urging to submit their 2020 budgets as soon as possible because we are now in the process of crafting our 2021 annual budgets. So the committee recommends the approval of the 2020 annual budgets of Barangay Camarda, Barangay Siha, Barangay San Saturnino, and Barangay Bugas.
Okay.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I present to the body for consideration and suggestions my committee report.
Thank you. Also, what's the pleasure of any comments? Suggestion?
I just have,
Yes, go ahead, Limbauan.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I just have a question please, to our Chairman of Finance. If pera pa nga barangay sa napapag-submitan 2020 budget, and also 2019 kung may dapat.
Honorable Presiding Officer, to answer the query of Honorable Limbauan, we still have 3 other barangays who has not submitted the 2020 budgets, and this assumes that all other barangays have complied with all the previous years' previous year budgets.
More questions? Good.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. So, am I correct, Madam Chair? If all these barangays that you have mentioned, the 3 barangays that have submitted their annual budget for 2020, anira ang ginagamit ngayon, anira rin natin budget?
That is, Honorable Presiding Officer, that is actually the problem. Asya nga, yan na, tika nga nagpagsulod, we have urged them to submit on time their budget. So, yan na, actually this is a good progress because during 2029, we were still trying to approve 2017, 2018, and 2019 budgets. So yan, at least 2020 budgets na, and some of them are already crafting their 2021 budget. This is a very bad practice because supposedly, ini nga era budget should have been reenacted na they should not spend this for their 2020 budgets. But then, it has been a very long practice. So we're trying to rectify this by urging them to submit their 2021 budgets as soon as possible.
Anyway, we have our ABC President who will remind the members of the barangay.
I think we should
I guess,
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Presiding Officer. The advantage of submitting on time the 2020 annual budget is that they will be able to utilize the increase in the IRA and additional savings for every operation for this year. Hindi rin nga nila magamit, sayang ito na savings, karin active pala niya, anira na na-approve. So, we would like to encourage our barangay officials to basically to at least remind our barangay officials to comply with the requirements of the law. Magsubmit ka rin. Sayang itong increase ng IRA. Sayang ang mga additional funding na yahata. Kaya hindi nila mga gamit. Kaya rin natin man. So dapat talaga nila gamitin ito para ito nila mga barangay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
noted the manifestation of Honorable advice for the barangay solution.
Thank you. Nagulado.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Waray na siguro na excuse kita itong mga taga-barangay kasi I would like to commend the efforts, the joint efforts natin Chairman ng Committee on Finance, Atty. Cainday, kaupod natin budget officers. They're doing their job kahit era budget monitoring. So waray na itong excuse na madali pa nga hawit era budget. So please, itong mga barangay council, cooperate po ka mga sabihin na tayo.
More suggestions, comments? None? So, Madam Atty.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of my committee report.
Second.
Next one.
Objections? None? So, motion is approved. Madam Atty.
Nakapod man.
Okay.
Next.
Next item is first.
We now come to the new business of proposed ordinances. We have number 1, an ordinance regarding the unutilized and obligated funds under the 2020 capital outlay of the Office of the Sangguniang Panlungsod Borongan, according to Cainday, in the amount of 86,861, and subsequently appropriating the entire sum to legislative services of the aforesaid office.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the inclusion for second reading, the said proposed appropriation ordinance.
Any objections? So, the motion is approved. Please take note, Mr. Secretary.
Noted.
Next item.
Proposed ordinance appropriating the salary savings ng rata of ST and Atty. Suyot for legislative services for 11 ST members.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the referral of the matter to the Committee on Finance since we still have no definite amount of certification of the budget. It will be
Salary like 96,000
So-
plus rata.
So we to the Committee on Finance for further discussions and for getting the certification also from the budget.
Just a quick question. Is this a different appropriation from?
Yes. Additional.
That's not included in the certification.
In behalf of.
That is for the month of December.
So I would like to thank the Senator.
My Christmas.
Yung very much is very good. So, any objections? None. So, the motion is approved. Salamat po tayo ating PCL President. Kaya niya, utan pa ng PCL President may taxes. Next item, sir.
We now come to proposed resolution granting the utilization of the amount of 173,130, a portion of the trust fund pursuant to Public Act 792 in the purchase of 2 desktop computer and 2 printer plus 6 cigarettes.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this is actually, there has actually been a committee meeting regarding this matter. There was a request from the City Civil Register Office to utilize part of their trust fund amounting to 173,130 pesos for their modernization of their office. During the committee meeting, we found out that under the law specified, Republic Act number 101/72, it was authorized to use this trust fund for modernization of the office. Since the expense or the allocation will be for two desktop computers and printers, it falls within the mandate of the law. Therefore, I move that we pass and approve a resolution granting the utilization of the amount of 173,130 pesos for the City Civil Registrar Office.
Seconded. Objection? None. So, the proposed resolution is hereby approved. Next item, sir.
The resolution approving the 2020 annual budget of Barangay Camada, Sihab, San Antonio, and Bugas, pursuant to Section 53, Article 2 of the Local Government Code.
1 minute, sir. Second issue. Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since I have had the committee report earlier and the recommendation for the approval of the said annual budgets of Barangay Camada, San Antonio, and Bugas has been approved, I move that we pass and approve a resolution formally approving the 2020 Barangay Annual Budget of Barangay Camada, Barangay Siha, Barangay San Antonio, and Barangay Bugas.
Any second? Any objections or discussions? None. So the resolution approving the 2020 Barangay Annual Budget of Barangay Camada, Siha, San Antonio, and Bugas is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Speaker.
The resolution giving authority to the City Mayor to enter into a memorandum agreement with the Bureau of Animal Industry for the transfer funds to the City of Borongan to be used for the good dispersal and nursing program of the city.
So, for information of everyone, the Office of the City Vice Mayor and the Office of Senator Agda, yes, may nag-iistoryahan na kami na mga opisina nga. Senator Agda is kariyang maghatag ng mga aid, ng mga kabarangayan. Dili natin kami ito Manila, may kabubos na Borongan. Luckily, ang Borongan is napili niya sa mga beneficiary, so niya livelihood program. Yan naman, mahatag si Senator Agda in funding na worth 2 million, pinaagi ha Bureau of Animal Industry. So, nag-istorya na only one kami nga ato na city veterinary doctor ang manahatag ko ng pitahin coat. So, siya maupay ko para masayang nalagaan, yung masayang pagdamot. Maupay niya mga kabulig para nalitas mga bulok yung Borongan. Ato naman city is waray man hindi magagasto. So, siya maupay. So, salamat kita ng Senator Sani Agda. Any comments, suggestions? Alright, so, Madam Coordinator.
Honorable Presiding Officer, since this will be beneficial to the City of Borongan, I move that we pass and approve this resolution giving authority to the City Mayor to enter into the Memorandum of Agreement with the Bureau of Animal Industry for the transfer of funds to the City of Borongan for the use of goat dispersal and grazing program of the city.
Objection? None? So the resolution giving authority to the city mayor to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the Bureau of Animal Industry is hereby approved.
Additional manifestation, Honorable Presiding Officer. Should be noted that during our last session, we passed and approved a resolution requesting all officers to grant, to give copies of this Memorandum of Agreements granting funds to the city, to our City Accounting Office and the City Treasurer, for them to be able to know how to record this grants of funds and how to spend these grants of funds. So I therefore urge our Department of Agriculture and City Veterinary, who will be grantees of these funds, and the City Mayor's Office to give the signed copies of the Memorandum of Agreements to the City Accountant and the City Treasurer.
Noted. I will also remind the concerned officers. So, next item, Mr. President.
Resolution reminding barangay officials to submit their annual budget.
Honorable Presiding Officer, earlier during the committee report for the approval of the barangay budgets of the other barangays, during the committee meeting of this budgets, it was found out that there are already several barangays who have started submitting their 2021 annual budgets, for which I commend them for complying. But it has not yet been submitted to the Sangguniang because of the review process. But there are still others who has manifested that they will not be able to submit their annual budgets as soon as possible. But under their mandate, in Section 329 to 334 of the Local Government Code, the 2021 budget should have already been submitted. I therefore move that we pass and approve a resolution reminding our barangay officials to submit their 2021 annual barangay budgets pursuant to their obligation under Section 329 to 334 of the Local Government Code, and subsequently urging our City Budget Office and City Accounting Office to assist the barangay officials promptly in the completion of their documentary requirements.
Second.
Second.
Any objections? None. So the proposed resolution is hereby approved. Next item, Mr. Speaker.
Resolution regarding the restorative development of New areas.
The Honorable Kurt.
Honorable Presiding Officer, this resolution is for the development of a beach resort in Barangay Cainday. Since there are still other matters which we have to look into, such as the location and other plans or developmental plans of this project, I therefore move that we first refer the matter to the Committee on Tourism for further discussion.
Objections? None. So we refer this to the Committee on Tourism. Next item, sir.
Business for the day for second reading. We have an ordinance appropriating, utilizing the savings from funds of completed projects under the 20% Development Fund, Cainday 2016-2019, amounting to 6,150,000 for opening communal park ng Barangay Campisao, Borongan City, including the road right of acquisition. Another is appropriation ordinance.
Point of order.
So, any comments, suggestions? That is the pleasure of the body. None. So, Madam Chair.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on second reading the appropriation ordinance utilizing the savings from the funds of the completed projects under the 20% Development Fund amounting to 6,150,000 pesos for the road opening to the new Memorial Park in Barangay Campisao, Borongan City, and road right-of-way acquisition.
Second.
Objections? None. So, the ordinance utilizing the city savings from funds of completed projects under the 20 Development Fund is hereby approved on second reading. Next item.
Additionally, Honorable Presiding Officer, I move that we include for third reading the said appropriation ordinance amounting to 6,150,000 pesos for the road opening to the new Memorial Park in Barangay Campisao.
Any objections? None. So, motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Secretary.
Also in reading is appropriation ordinance utilizing 5 million for opening barangay San Jose to Borongan City Primary Health Care Facility.
Okay, so what is the pleasure of the body? Any comments, suggestions? None, Madam Floor.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval of the appropriation ordinance amounting to 5 million pesos for the road opening in Barangay San Jose leading to the Borongan City Primary Healthcare Facility.
Any objections? None. So the ordinance, the appropriation ordinance amounting to 5 million pesos is hereby approved on second reading. Next item.
Consequently, Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the inclusion under our proposed ordinance for third reading, the appropriation ordinance amounting to 5 million pesos for the road opening in Barangay San Jose.
Second. Any objections? None. So motion approved. Next item, Mr. Speaker.
An ordinance reverting to the unutilized and unrelated funds under the 2020 capital outlay of the Office of the Sangguniang Panlungsod Borongan, Atty. Cainday, in the amount of 86,861 and subsequently appropriating the entire sum to legislative services of the aforesaid office.
So, Madam Floor.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the approval on second reading, the appropriation ordinance reverting the 2020 capital outlay budget of my office to the legislative services.
Second. Any objections? So the appropriation ordinance is approved. Madam Floor.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I also move that we include for third reading the proposed appropriation ordinance reverting the capital outlay budget of my office to legislative services.
Second. Any objections? So motion is approved. Next item, Mr. Speaker.
Ordinance for third reading. We have an appropriation ordinance utilizing 6,150,000 for opening to new memorial park, Barangay Community South, on the city, including road right of acquisition. Second, we have an appropriation ordinance amounting to 5 million for road opening, Barangay San Jose. And third, we have the appropriation ordinance of this Atty. Cainday for legislative services in the amount of 86,861. That's all, Mr. Chairman, for third reading.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. So next item, please.
Other matters?
Other matters? Other matters? So next item, Mr. Secretary.
Announcement.
Announcement. Any announcement?
Yes,
Yes, sorry, our PCL President.
Thank you. I would like to take this opportunity to inform our Chairman Committee on Tourism to participate in a Zoom meeting with the PCL National Council regarding an e-clip on tourism. So, Mr. Chairman Committee on Tourism, Sangguniang Panlungsod third. That is on December 17 at 2 p.m. Please, you can participate. That is a Zoom meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so the committee chair on tourism, please take note of the date and time of the meeting. So any more announcement? Alright, announcements. Salamat lang kita sa ating PCL President na nag-share yung blessing. Pasko with Pasko ba? Wala kang ganyan.
Thank you.
At least okay naman na Pasko.
Very.
Yes, Mayor. Any more announcements? Okay na? So next item, Mr.
Adjournment.
Honorable Presiding Officer, I move for the adjournment of our 66th regular session.
So the 66th regular session is now adjourned.
That truly sets us free, with the light that leads the blind to see. Voice of the word, voice for the good, voice of the whole, voice of